Hello YouTube, shintigercurl here, that dude in the straw hat, bringing you yet another awesome video. And as you can see, I've got my Salvation automated program running, so now that means it's going to be a Yu-Gi-Oh video. So yeah, we got some new cards that dropped today that are coming out in the next set. And of course, thanks to the diligent people over at the Salvation server who program and code these cards so we can play them as soon as possible. So a bunch of new cards dropped, and I figured I'd go over some of them if I can. So first off, I want to talk about these guys. These are the Phantom Knights. Now, this one I believe was used by Yuto from the Arc 5 series of Yu-Gi-Oh, and now it has its own archetype. So we're going to go through these one by one, just check these out, and then we're going to also look at the other new cards, as we saw. So first we have the Phantom Knight of Rugged Glove. It is a dark monster. It's a warrior, 1,000 attack, 500 defense, pitiable. Effect: you can banish this card from your graveyard. Send one Phantom Knight card or one Phantom spell or trap card, except Horn of the Phantom Beast, from your deck to the graveyard. A Dark Exceed monster that was summoned using this card as Exceeds material gains this effect. If this card is Exceed summoned, it gains 1,000 attack. You can use this effect, each of these effects of the Phantom Knight of Rugged Glove, once per turn. Now, one of the channels I'm subscribed to, I can't remember his name. It's DP something or other. He's a decent guy, so just check him out. I'll probably leave a link in the description. But he mentioned that this is level 3 warrior can be searched by Rhoda, of course, and you can bring it back with the warrior returning alive. There are a lot of combos and shenanigans you can do with this. This one I could see getting worked into a Ghost Trick variant for Alucard, because Alucard is a rank 3 Exceed monster that can pop any set card on the field. Now, with this card, you can make an 1800 Alucard into a 2800 beater. So expect to see this guy in a lot of Ghost Trick decks. So his other effect working within itself, it allows you to it's sort of like a Armageddon Knight. You can banish it and send one of your Phantom Knight cards, either the monsters or one of the spell or traps. And since it says the Phantom, you can there are quite a few cards that get under this, and of course they specifically say Horn of the Phantom Beast from your deck to the graveyard. So I'm not even considering making up a deck with this, but if you want to run a deck by this, I haven't even gotten much thought to it. I'm just talking about the cards. So don't think of this as a deck profile video. This is just me talking about the cards. Alright, next we have Phantom Knight of the Dusty Robes. It almost sounds like Dusty Rhodes, doesn't it? Like the other one, it is a dark warrior monster, level 3. 800 attack, 1,000 defense, pitiable. If this card is in attack position, you can target one dark monster on the field, change it to defense mode, and if you do, that target gains 800 attack and defense until the end of your opponent's turn. You can banish this card from your grave, add one Phantom Knight's card from your deck to your hand, except Dusty Robe. You can only use this effect once per turn. Now, this first effect pretty much means that if you summon it in attack position, you can just switch it into a defense mode, and it becomes an 1800 defender or an 1800 attacker for your next turn, depending on how you want to play it. Banishing it means you can add more. It pretty much is a searcher for any Phantom Beast for the Phantom Knight's cards that you have. So there's that. It's pretty in the archetype. I could see some shenanigans go off with it, but again, I haven't played the deck. I'm not even considering playing the deck. It's just here. So make of this what you will. This is just me educating you about what these cards are. Now we go to the Exceeds monster, Phantom Knight Break Sword. It is a rank 3 dark warrior monster, 2,000 attack, 1,000 defense. it's above average as far as stats go for a rank 3 monster. It needs only 2 level 3 monsters, so it's pretty generic. You can splash this in if you have a deck that has level 3 monsters or runs rank 3s a lot. So it's splashable in the right deck. Let's go to its effect. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Exceed material from this card. Then target 1 card on each side of the field. Destroy it. If this Exceed summon card is destroyed, you can target 2 Phantom Knight monsters of the same level from your graveyard, special summon them, and increase their levels by 1. Also, you can't special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except dark monsters. Now, I can see a tremendous amount of shenanigans doing with this card. First off, it has a nice little effect that you can just pop a card on from your side of the field to the other side of the field, which is kind of what you want to do. And depending on the deck you're going to run, a lot of decks can benefit from this kind of thing. For some reason, scrap monsters seem to benefit from this. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't really put much thought into it. So you can just pop it. So you can summon this guy, then pop himself and another one of your opponent's cards. And since it got destroyed, since its effect says if it's destroyed, it doesn't necessarily it doesn't say limit any kind of conditions with it. So it just says if this card is destroyed. So you can destroy it or your opponent can destroy it. You'll get to your effect off. So when you summon this thing and you use its effect, you're gonna have 2 monsters of the same thing because you need 2 level 3 monsters to summon it. So when it dies and the monsters go to the graveyard, you can automatically target them and bring them back, and then you can just special summon them and increase their level by 1. So it's good for those dark Exceed monsters. I'm assuming that because of this effect, there will be another Phantom Knights card that's a rank 4 or higher. I don't know. We have to see what kind of other support they have, but depending on what kind of, because there is no specific restrictions involving this card, I can see a lot of people splashing this card in just for the popping effects and all. So I can also see Ghost Tricks running this. Don't know why, but yeah, that's pretty interesting. Now we go to the trap. Phantom Knight's Shadow Veil. Target 1 face-up monster you control. It gains 300 attack and defense. When your opponent declares a direct attack while this card is in your graveyard, special summon this card in defense position as a normal monster with the stats of being a warrior dark type, level 4, 0 attack, 300 defense. This card is treated as a trap card. If this card is summoned this way, banish it when it leaves the field. So it gets a trap monster. Now with this, we can now see what Rugged Glove does. You can you can banish this, send this to the graveyard. If your opponent swings at you, you can bring this out, and sets up all kinds of shenanigans. It also, and because it's a trap monster, it makes for easy rank 4 exceeds. So you definitely want to have one of these. So this is my overall thoughts on the deck. It has potential, but I want to see more support for this. There should be more support for this. Now, as is, you could probably mix this up with probably Ghost Tricks, more likely, or any other rank 3 exceeds type deck. But until now, I'm not going to run this deck. I'm not going to recommend that you run this deck as is. Just wait. You can wait, can't you? Now, those are Phantom Knights. But next, we got some other stuff to look at. Let's do a quick search. No, that's not what I wanted, but I hope there is a... Nope, no, it doesn't have that, so this is what we're going to do. And of course, for some reason, Buster Blader got a lot of support in the last one. Yep, if you don't remember, Buster Blader, old school card, it is a level 7 warrior earth monster. 2600 attack, 2300 defense. This card gains 500 extra attack for each dragon type monster on the field your opponent has on the field or in their graveyard. I have not seen any Buster Blader decks or specific cards or decks specifically around Buster Blader. Most of the time they would use them to summon Dark Paladin, which is a fusion of Buster Blader and Dark Magicians. But because of this new support, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of this guy. So, we'll go up to this guy. This is the new support. Buster Blader, the Prodigal Destroyer. Or, as it's also called, Buster Blader, Master Dragonbane. It is like its older brother. It is same levels, same attack and stats, but let's look at its effect. This card's name becomes Buster Blader while on the field or in the graveyard. If your opponent's monster or monsters is destroyed by battle or by card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target one of those monsters. Equip it to this card. Once per turn, you can send one equipped monster to this card to the graveyard. Destroy all monsters your opponent's control of the same type. Now, this is a type killer. Like, if your opponent is running like a lot of fiends or preferably a lot of dragons in this case, and there are a lot of dragon decks out there, from your blue eyes to your heretics to your red eyes to just pretty much anything that uses dragons. This card, along with the rest of with Buster Blader, is good to kill, but only in that situation. So, making the name become Buster Blader means that you can use it for fusions to summon Dark Paladin if you really need to. If you it's also a basic Goyo Guardian, a slightly weaker Goyo Guardian when if your opponent's monsters are destroyed by battle or by card effect, and you can it doesn't matter if this card destroys it or if your opponent you destroy them by card effect, you can just say, hey, I like that guy, I'm taking it. And then once per turn, if your opponent has a bunch of monsters of the same type, like a bunch of dragons, you can just remove that, and you have a dragon equipped to this guy. Unequip it, wipe out their field. Unless they're running Belize, then you can't fuck with it. So, it's pretty interesting. Let's see if we can't find the other, let's see. I think that is, no, this is just Buster Blaster. No, this is Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroyer. Yes, Buster Blader has another fusion. Let's see. It is a light warrior monster. Fusion, of course. 2,500 attack, 2,800 defense. You can fuse it with Buster Blader and a dragon type monster. Must be fusion summoned and can't be special summoned any other ways. Cannot attack your opponent directly. This card gains 1,000 attack for each dragon-type monster your opponent controls or is in their graveyard. Change all dragon monsters on their field to defense position. Dragon monsters your opponent possesses cannot activate their effects. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict pierce damage. So yeah, if you're playing if you're playing a Buster Blader deck and you're using Buster Blader, they're using this Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroyer, and your opponent is using a dragon deck, then you've essentially fucked them over. So, if they're running at least one dragon on their field, then this guy, and you summon him, he becomes a 3,800 attacker. And if your opponent decides to summon 5 God Dragon, then he becomes that's 5,000 plus the 5,000, the 5 plus the 5 in their graveyard plus the 1 on their field. That's 6,000, so that'd be an 8,800 attacker. But if they play Dragon's Mirror, that would be a problem. So it also changes them into defense mode, and they can't activate their effects. So decks like Heretics or Red Eyes decks, or if they summon or Blue Eyes decks, anything that runs a lot of high dragons, this card will just effectively shut it down, and your opponent will have to get rid of it via spell or trap removal, one or the other. So if you're playing dragons and your opponent plays this, you might as well just say GG. That's it. Unless you have some way of getting him off the field, he is going to be running over your dragons like nobody's business, and you can't do shit to stop him. Now let's see. I think there's let's see. I don't know. I'm gonna check the list again. So excuse me for a minute. I just want to make sure I'm getting all the. All right. We got some magician support. So we're gonna go to that. Magicians. Yeah, magicians have seen a lot of play nowadays because of the pendulum magician cards, which pretty much make them really ridiculously cheesy. So I'm gonna find that. I think I remember it is tuning. Oh, wait. Sorry. Let's see. Alright. Yeah, Tuning Magician. Sorry that the picture kind of threw me off. Tuning Magician. It is a level 1 spellcaster. Tuner. 0 attack, 0 defense. This card is in your hand or in your graveyard, where there are 2 or more magician cards in your pendulum zone. You can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use the effect of Tuning Magician once per turn. If this card is normal special summon, your opponent gains 400 life points, and if they do, you take 400 points of damage. So, Tuning Magician. You want to have this card because it's easily searchable for with 1-for-1, and it makes very good use of your magician pendulum monsters, because if you're playing a magician pendulum deck, then you're gonna need at least 2 of these, because this is good. I really like this card. If I was playing magicians, I would run this. So the last little effect, it will only come into play if you're really down to life points, but you can take the burn. You can really take the burn. So, since we have a new tuner, we must have a new where is it? Yeah, Enlightenment Paladin. And once again, these pictures are fucking me up. I gotta report that these pictures are kind of fucking me up, because this is a guy of the Fierce Knight in the picture, but it's really Enlightenment Paladin. So, Enlightenment Paladin, level 8. Yes, 8 is the magic number. Light synchro monster, spellcaster, of course. 2,500 attack, 2,000 defense. Same stats as a dark magician. It's of course the requirements are pretty generic. Just a tuner and 1 non-tuner monster, so you can just pretty much splash this in. If this card is synchro summoned using a magician pendulum monster or monster as a synchro material, you can target 1 spell in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use this effective Enlightenment Paladin once per turn. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can inflict damage to that opponent's monster equal to that attack. Now, the first effect really does work out best with synchro magicians. I mean, not synchro magicians, pendulum magicians, because you'll be able to pendulum summon them, as well as using Tuning Magician to bring this big bitch out. And of course, if you do that, you can just recycle a spell card from your graveyard back to your hand. So it's pretty much a Magician of Faith that you can actually attack with. That's nice. Most people, they will probably splash this in their deck because it's so generic and you can summon it. When this card, it has a nifty little burn effect, but because it's only 2,500 attack, or if I'm reading that right, because I'm just reading this right here, so I'm sorry. It looks like a 28 up here, so I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. So if it runs something over, it can burn your opponent for that monster's original attack. So if you're running over your opponent's monsters, it's a good little burn thing. So it's definitely worth running in a Pendulum Magician deck, or you can just splash it into a Synchro deck if you want. Just have a little extra something. If you don't want to summon Stardust Dragon or Scrap Dragon or Red Dragon Archfiend or any of the other Synchro Dragons, and you just want something to do some damage with, Enlightenment Magician's okay. Alright, got 2 more cards from what I can see. And this one appears to be Gagaga Head. It's a new one for the Gagaga archetype. We haven't seen a lot of Gagaga support lately. This is a dark spellcaster. It's level 6. I think this is the highest of the Gagaga monsters. Yep, it's the highest level Gagaga monster out there. 2,100 attack, 2,000 defense. Not bad. In terms of stats, this is the best overall one in terms of stats. Let's look at effects. If your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you can normal summon this without tributing, but this level becomes 4. When this card is normal summoned, you can target up to 2 Gagaga monsters in your graveyard except itself. Special summon them. Also, you cannot special summon any other monsters for the rest of the turn except by exceed summoning them using Gagaga monsters only. An exceed monster that was summoned using this card's effect gains this effect. If this card is exceed summoned, draw 1 card. This card is fucking fantastic for Gagagas. Gagagas specialize in exceed summoning. It's just what they do. Like, you can see them right here. Gardner makes for and stays. You can just block on the direct attack from your opponent, protect yourself from destruction, and it's good for rank 4s. Gagaga Magician goes without saying. Gagaga Mancer, awesome. Gagaga Caesar, you can just banish one and it becomes the level. Its level becomes that of the banished monster. Gagaga Girl matches Gagaga Magician's level. And Gagaga Child and Gagaga Clerk. This card makes it awesome. It's not just a nice beat stick. You can normal summon him without tributing, and you have a nice 2400 attacker on board. And when it's normal summon, it just junk synchrons 2 Gagaga monsters from your graveyard. And and for the rest of the turn, you can't special summon except exceed summonings using Gagaga monsters. So this makes Gagagas a much better deck archetype than I thought. After seeing this, I'm actually going to consider making a Gagaga deck because this is just so fucking solid. Wow. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make a Gagaga deck. But yeah. Now moving on to the last one. We got some more Super Heavy Samurai support. Now, I haven't talked much, but Super Heavy Samurais have gotten some more support, as in 2 pendulum cards. I'm not going to talk about those right now, probably in another video somewhere down the line, but let's see if we can't find it. Here it is, Super Heavy Samurai Kurogama. Let's see, it is a Earth monster, level 3. 100 attack, 2100 defense. That's not bad. Can't be normal special summon unless you have no spell traps in your graveyard. When you take battle damage while you have no spells or traps in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, it cannot be destroyed or battle by card effects or by battle this turn. Fuck me, I want this card in my deck. As you know, I do have a Super Heavy Samurai deck. I haven't really used it because I've been focusing more on side frames, but god damn this card. Now, if you're like me, I run a monster mash of Super Heavy Samurais. All monsters. No spells and traps. So the first condition, if you're running a spell or traps if you're running a monster mash variant of the Super Heavy Samurais, which you should be doing, and then you're gonna have no spells and traps in your graveyard. I've said it before and I say it again, Super Heavy Samurais run best with no spells and traps. That's just from my experience. This guy is another reason why you should. Because, so if your opponent hits you, you can just special summon this from your hand, and that's an automatic 2100 wall, and your opponent can't get over it. They can't kill it this turn, and they can't destroy it, so it's good fodder out there for synchro summonings, or good just to sack Big Ben K. But I can see a lot of potential with this card, and I'm going to throw it into my deck. I'm going to make some room, shuffle some cards around, but I'm definitely going to run this guy. I like him. This is awesome. I did not expect it to be this awesome, but I'm not even going to complain. And I believe, oh, there is one I am missing. I think it's a spell card. Dragon, no. I think it's a dragon, not Dragonic Tactics. That's no. I'm missing one. Dragon's Bane Fusion. Why is it is a picture of a pendulum monster on it? I don't know. This is fucked up. So anyway, Dragon Destroyer Fusion or Dragon Bane Fusion. This is for the Buster Blader archetype. It is a quick play spell card. Interesting. Fusion summon one fusion monster that lists Buster Blader as material from your extra deck using monsters in your hand or on your either side of the field as fusion material. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard, add this card to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. This card is not treated as a fusion card. So quick play. That's pretty interesting that a fusion card would be quick play. Now, this could only be useful for the Buster Blader archetype in a way that if they're fighting against a dragon archetype. So I can see someone having a Buster Blader on the field, and their opponent summons Darkness Metal, and then you just activate this card, fuse those two, and bring out Buster Destroyer, big bastard. That's what I'm gonna call him, big bastard, and just run your opponent and just say, well, I fucked you over, what you gonna do now? And the fact that you can recycle this by just ditching a card and adding it to your hand by just ditching a card, that could be some good stuff. Also, the fact that it's not treated as a fusion does kind of limit what cards can search for, because there are a lot of cards that can search for fusion or polymerization, as it says. So I'm not sure how well that translates over, but there's that. But anyway, those are all the new cards that have been added to Salvation. Once again, if you want to play with these cards, just go to the Salvation server and just download the program. It doesn't take that long, and if you have any problems, the administrator and the other people are very nice, and they will help you out. You can play with these cards right now. I am not kidding you. All the cards that I have shown you, you can play with them right now. And they haven't even been they're months and months away from being officially released in America. So play with these cards now, get a head up over the competition, and there's that. So that's my video discussing the new cards added to Salvation. Like what you see? Link, comment, subscribe below. Got any questions, comments, or just want to talk about the new cards? Leave them below, I'll get back to you. Want to support the channel? Hit that like button, helps, as does all these other advertisements surrounding the screen. Want to support the channel? Tip jars in the corner, you know what to do. So until next time, it's been shintigercurl, that dude in the straw hat, saying good day, and I'm going to be a little bit busy in the next couple of minutes.